Hey, this is Marcus L., General Manager, Scoreboard powered by Clipped. I want to show you all what we have coming this season with our Pro Analytics package. We've listened to a lot of your feedback about the things you want to see. So less of, the graphics and more about the numbers this year. Myself and Carolyn Kupchak are going to showcase the new features and discuss how they can help you in the coming season. You'll be able to subscribe to the Pro Analytics package when registration opens in the first week of August. One of the new features that we have is this momentum screen. And essentially what you'll be receiving in this is feedback on how your players are performing in certain situations on the golf course. So for example, we've got our bounce back, our drop off percentage, gas pedal percentage, and bogey train. And essentially we're telling you how your players perform after they make a birdie. Are they following up with a bogey, or are they following up with another birdie? Or are they following up bogeys with another birdie or another bogey? I think most coaches would agree that this is a great way to tell how your players are performing in these certain situations and gives you a bunch of insights as to how your players can improve.
Yeah, I think this is a great way that coaches can see who does well and that they can kind of leave alone. If they have a bogey, you know that they're going to follow up with a birdie or better. And then they can also kind of show which players they might need to go and catch up on. If they've had a bogey or two, they're probably going to keep down that path. And so they might need more of like a mental pick-me-up or just some help on those next few holes after that bogey.
I think one of the more insightful things on this screen as well is a stat that we've kind of latched onto a little bit here, which is your gas pedal percentage. I think a lot of us have heard of bounce back, starting with a bogey and bouncing back with a birdie. But what can be also important, especially in very high level competitive golf, is not being afraid to, as we call it, putting your foot on the gas pedal. So when I make a birdie, am I stalling or am I continuing to apply the pressure with more birdies? And I think you would find that a lot of your top level collegiate players will rank pretty highly in this category where, okay, 1 under's good, 2 under's better, 3 under's even better. Let's keep that foot on the gas.
What's nice is you can also see how your team as a whole compares to your conference. So the other teams in your conference, how well they do with their bounce back, their drop off, their gas pedal, or their bogey trains. And you can also dive into your own team players and see how well they compare to each other.
This is another feature we've added to the Pro Analytics package, which is our in contention screen. This essentially shows, just from a team and player standpoint, the average number of rounds you're spending in these different subcategories. So in the top 5 as the leader, in the top 15, and which is really important as well as beating field average. You want to make sure that your players and your team are, again, above average. You can then also see what percentage of rounds you are spending in those categories.
So I feel like this is a really good screen for SIDs that they can use information on creating their stories and content for their teams and their players.
Another feature we've added is comeback rounds. This screen shows you which players are improving upon their score from the previous round. So you're going to see what percentage of those rounds they've improved upon, how many rounds they've done that, and then what that scoring average is, and then also what their average improvement is. And you get that from a team standpoint and from a player standpoint.
Now, what do we mean by a comeback round? Well, that is when a team or a player improves upon from their previous round by 2 strokes or better.
Another feature added is round 1, round 2, round 3 performance. The screen here is showing you your scoring average, both team and individual, not only from a total average, but then breaks it down on your round 1, round 2, and round 3. And if you get to a tournament like a national final that has 4 rounds, you've got data there to show how you've performed in those 4-round events as well.
This is also another great screen for your SIDs to take a look at to see your players' averages compared to your conference, as well as who maybe has the better average within the team.
This can be used as a really great coaching tool to see which players are starting off strong, maybe really good final round performers. You can also use this from a team evaluation standpoint to see which parts of the tournament you are or are not performing well. Are we starting off strong? Are we ending the tournament slow? Where can we make adjustments to really maximize our potential? The next feature added to the Pro Analytics package is scoring consistency. This screen is going to show you how consistent both your team and players are. So not only are we seeing what our score range is for our individual team members, but also things like deviation from your average from a team standpoint and the percentage of your rounds that are +1 away from your scoring average, both team and player. One of the most important things to a coach is, can I depend on you? Can I depend on you to go out and shoot the score that you're expected to shoot, or the score that's going to help us gain success? Not only is this important at the top of your lineup, but also at the bottom of your lineup. So if you can look at this screen to gain insights on, okay, the players I'm considering in the 4 or 5 slot, What's their scoring range? Do I not have to count on the high score because they've got a range of 4 or 5 shots? Can be super useful as you continue to create lineups throughout the year. Another new feature added to the Pro Analytics package is 36 whole days. Essentially, the screen is taking into account your scoring averages on 18 whole days and then on the days that you're playing 36 holes. And then it gives you a differential between those rounds. This can be used a number of different ways, but the first 2 ways that I think it can be used is, of course, as a team and player evaluation tool. How am I looking at my team and saying, are we performing well enough on the long 36 whole days that many of us have been a part of? Are there things we need to do differently to improve that scoring average, whether we need to pack more snacks in the cooler, if we need to sleep better? And then same thing from our players. Maybe there's specific players that you see trends of, okay, they're playing really well on the 18-hole days, but the 36-hole days, they're really struggling. And those can lead to really good player conversations as well. You can also use this to give you insights into scheduling. If we're not performing well on 36-hole days, maybe we need to stay away from those the next year. Or if you notice that we perform really well on 36-hole days, especially as you compare it to your conference average, national average, that may be where you have a leg up on the competition. An additional feature we've added is weather conditions. On the screen, you'll be able to see your scoring averages in different conditions. So on this screen here, you're seeing scoring averages when there's no rain, when there's light rain, when there's moderate rain, and heavy rain. There's a drop-down menu where you can change the conditions to gain even further insights into how both your team and players are performing in both wind and different temperatures.
So this situational performance information can help you with your course management for your players and conversations that you can have with those players. If there's certain players that, let's say you look at the drop down with the windy conditions, there's a player that tends to have a higher average on those days. And you can go back and maybe look at practices or talk about that course management of how you're now going to play that at a course that is going to be windy. Same with precipitation and rough conditions. You're going to probably have to hit different shots out of rough if it's been wet and rainy for the past few days or if it's been raining during the event. So I think this is a really great way to talk to your players or just to prepare for your event depending on those different weather conditions.
Historic course scoring is another new feature we've added to the Pro Analytics package. This screen is giving you essentially a full breakdown of the courses you have played in previous and current seasons and how you fared. At the top is an overall look at your averages for those courses, giving you your average score to par, your average yardage, and then your averages for par 3s, 4s, and 5s. As you kind of break it down from an individual course level, you'll also get the par 3, 4, 5 averages, along with the number of rounds played, which can be very insightful as well. Are we playing that golf course a lot? And then the average score to par for each of those courses as well.
This is great information for your practice round. You can look at your course history and let's say those par 5s, you aren't doing so well. So during the practice round, you can talk to your players, have those conversations and going through what are you thinking on this hole? How would you attack this? And kind of evaluating, is that the right choice or is there something that you can improve on? Same as the par 3s. Again, it's just saying, okay, well, this is what we've done. This is a great strategy for these holes and to continue that each time that you play there.
Last season, we introduced scoring breakdown under our season stats, which included scoring distribution, scoring on par 3s, 4s, and 5s, score to par versus course length, score to par versus hole length. And now we've added hole groupings. Essentially what this screen is showing us is how your team and players are performing both on your first 9 and your second 9, and then also 6-hole splits of your first 6, your second 6, and your third 6.
As a coach, I think this can lead to some great conversations with your players, as well as finding out where they can improve on. Maybe a player has a really good first 9, but not a great second 9. So maybe it's a player that, once they make the turn, you can go out and check on them. Let's see, is this something that maybe they just haven't eaten lunch and they're starting to just lose steam? Or is it something where mentally they're starting to break down and they need someone there for support? Same as your first 6, second 6, third 6. You could have a player that does really well in the first, not so great in the middle, but then is able to come back. You can find out information as to what is it that is that second 6? What's going on? What are they doing differently? Again, is it something where maybe we got to look on training? Maybe their endurance is just getting down. Maybe they aren't hydrating. Maybe they aren't eating enough. You can find out what areas your players might need help on improvement, whether it's mentally or physically.
Thanks, everybody, for your time. If you have any more questions, please do reach out to myself or Carolyn. We really look forward to kicking off the 25-26 college golf season.